Hello guys and girls, it's Aaron Lee here, and I'm doing a YouTube video today about Arkham Origins Update 2. I'll be reading some more articles of Batman Arkham Origins for you from IGN, and it is Aaron Lee here too. And the first one will be Batman Arkham Origins cheaper on Wii U, September 27th, 2013. Nintendo fans might be saving a bit of money on the much anticipated sequel by some Marty Salivia. Batman Arkham Origins for the Wii U will be cheaper than its Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 brethren, according to Kotaku. The Nintendo version will run you $50, which is $10 cheaper than the other console SKUs. This discount is likely due to the news that Wii U version will not contain a multiplayer mode, which we reported on a few months back. According to a WB representative, the reason for the mode's absence being that the team is focusing on development efforts on platforms with the largest multiplayer audience. Batman Arkham Origins is set to hit all 4 platforms on October 25th. It will feature the same open world gameplay as its 2 predecessors. It's a bit of a bummer that Wii U owners are going to miss out on the multiplayer aspect of the game. Considering how promising it felt when we got our hands on it back in July. But at least cutting the price a bit is a nice mea culpa on Warner Brothers' part. We've reached out to Warner Brothers Interactive for confirmation and will update once we've heard back. Marcia Salivia is an associate editor at IGN. He would pay good money for a Gotham Central game. Follow him on Twitter at MacBiggity on IGN and on our IGN. Yeah. I'm not gonna read anybody's comments on these articles, guys and girls, because they put a lot of comments on these videos. These articles. They were like thousands and thousands of people. I'm not gonna read them all. It's too many people to read. I know there's probably people complaining about this game. Anyway, I can read some of them though. GS Lightning 21 says, I got Arkham City on Wii U for only $20 at Amazon. I'll wait until this one goes down to $20 before I purchase it as well. Spy DYD says, I only play FPS online anyway. Nintendo FTW. That Lemon Blake 1. I got it even cheaper. I got it for free with a new graphics card. Never mind. That's all reading. Next article is going. This is going back to September now. September 26, 2013. The next article is Batman Arkham Origins Season Pass announced. Warner Brothers has announced a Season Pass for Arkham Origins that'll net you access to 5 pieces of upcoming DLC, meaning downloadable content. Available for $15 and 99 cents. And in the US, it's $19.99 by Luke Carmel. Warner Brothers has announced a season pass for Batman Arkham Origins. It will be available for $15.99 in Europe and $19.99 in US. Opting to purchase the season pass will net players access to 5 of the game's coming DLC packs, saving them €12 and $10 in their process. So the first one is new Millennium skins pack. The second one is Infinite Earth's skin pack. Gotham by Gaslight Batman skin exclusive. Brightest Day Batman skin exclusive. Initiation. Trained as Bruce Wayne in new challenge maps. And then all new story. The full list of content included in the season pass includes the Goth by Gaslight and Brightest Day Batman skins, a new Millennium skins pack, the Infinite Earth skin pack, an initiation bundle, and a see you play as Bruce Wayne before he was Batman, and an all-new story campaign, which is, I don't know yet. Batman Arkham Origins will launch on PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U, and PC on October. It said 20th right here, but it's October 25th, though. So it was supposed to be the 20th, I'm guessing. Luke Carmelli is IGN's UK junior editor. You can too reveal in mediocrity by following him on IGN and on Twitter. And then the first guy says, "Screw you, Warner Brothers. Everybody supports season passes. Way to hurt the gaming industry and its consumers." Yeah, people complaining again. I don't know why people complain. It hasn't even come out yet, they complain. Next one is Batman Arkham Origins. The bats button mashing days are days are over. September 24th, 2013. Batman Arkham Origins, brutal combat wants to transform you into a free-flow black belt. By Matt Cabral, September 24th, 2013. During a recent Batman Arkham Origins demo in New York City, I often felt as though I was receiving a pre-fight pep talk rather than a gameplay preview. It's not enough to just mash the buttons and counter once in a while. We want you to be doing quick fire gadgets, dodges, grapples, slams, the works. We want you to be getting 50 to 60 hit combos. Began Mid Mattis, senior producer of the franchise's forthcoming prequel chapter. There's a 4-minute video up here, but I'm not gonna play it though. You can't see it. In my video, I mean, that is. I don't know how to do talking and videos at the same time. I don't know how to do that. While the enthusiastic developer made me feel like a pressurized prize fighter before a big bout, he was really just trying to prepare me for the title's fresh take on the series, satisfying free-flow combat system as in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. The brawling mechanics will still yield the same rewarding rhythm fans felt when clearing rooms of foes by carefully balancing attacks, counters, dodges, and cape stuns. Rocksteady Studios' dynamic duo pulled off what no previous Bat games had. They actually made players feel as badass as Batman. And WB Games Montréal isn't about to mess with that successful formula. That said, the new studio wishes to evolve the tired and true mechanics while also putting its own mark on the series. Matties and gameplay director Michael McIntyre believe this means not just training players to be good at combat, but making them black belts. We've created specific memorable challenges that force them to be good at things in order to process. They really focus on challenging core skills, slowly inching players toward becoming much better. And the game explained McIntyre. These so-called challenges conveniently tie into Origins prequel tale. As Mathis described, Batman is at his best when the game begins. It's year 2. He knows how to fight. He's got the suit. He's donned the cowl. He goes out at night and he beats up bad guys. But generally speaking, it's organized crime. Pimps, drug dealers, gang members. No one has thrown anything more challenging at him than a shotgun. That's all going to change the night that our game takes place. The impetuous of the change method that he refers to is a $50 million bounty put on the bat by main antagonist Black Mask. Not only does this hefty reward for the hero's head attract 8 of the DC Universe's top assassins, including Bane, Firefly, Copperhead, and Deathstroke. It also provides the developers with the narrative opening that allows Origins to, as Maddie's put it, train players to be good at being Batman. As with previous Arkham entries, Origins will pit Bat fans against tough odds, playing fast and loose with the free-flow combat system until large groups of foes are whittled down to one whimpering bad guy. This time around, however, these multi-thugs showdowns will serve as mere warm-ups to mano boss battles with assassins that are as well trained as Batman. Sure, the series has been its share of epic encounters with the biggest bads from DC's Rogues Gallery, but previous believes with madmen like Mr. Freeze and the Joker have been more story pushing. Cinematic set pieces than thumb blistering battles. Boss fights are common to the franchise, but as Matthews explained, encounters against single enemies or as hyper-focused on free-flow combat as Batman are new. Each of these dedicated showdowns will focus on a specific aspect of free-flow fisticuffs, forcing players to master it if they wish to progress. I got a taste of this tough love approach during one of the game's early assassin battles against Deathstroke. With the PS3 controller clutched in my mitts, Maddie's peered over my shoulder and returns to rally mode to remind me that throwing the one-eyed merc isn't another guy with a gun, and that glorified button mashing won't cut it. Deathstroke is an augmented incredibly capable hand-to-hand melee fighter with access to great weaponry and technology. He's incredibly vicious, willing to kill, and has all the capabilities of Batman, but none of the inhabitations. Using a metal staff, smoke bombs, and a grapple gun that occasionally snatches an exploding barrel to collide with Batman's chest. Deathstroke easily lived up to the reputation Maddie's painted for him. It was also clear I was on the receiving end of an ass-whooping designed to teach me how to counter at just the right moment. In fact, countering too often or too early actually saw Deathstroke stealing the sort of in the zone momentum I've grown accustomed to enjoying from behind Batman's fists. After 2 attempts, both of which saw me barely bring Deathstroke's health bar to the half point, Maddie's pointed out that I shouldn't spam the counter button, nor should I try stunning him with my cape, unlike the dumb bunnies polluting Gotham's streets. Deathstroke's apparently immune to such parlor tricks. With feedback doled out, Maddie's took the controller and showed me how it's done. In defense of my failed attempts to make Deathstroke cry uncle, however, it took Mattis several minutes, including a few close calls, to bring the gun for hire down. When he finally did, though, his persistence and skills were rewarded with Deathstroke's grapple gadget, now rechristened as the remote, the Bat Claw. On top of incentivizing these focused fights with cool loot, Origins introduces a new Wayne Tech upgrade system that provides plenty of tools, like detailed tutorial videos for those who constantly find themselves slumped on the floor shortly after meeting assassins. While the developers really want players to be judicious in their use of attacking versus countering versus gadget use. They're not just throwing them into the deep end without a utility built. On top of Wayne Tech's teaching tools, the game's story-driven pacing promises to progress players in a way that trains them to be a badass without obvious hand-holding or frustrating trial and error. It's a tough balance, but one the developers are confident they've nailed. My biggest takeaway was that these dedicated combat-focused encounters felt like nothing I'd experienced in previous Arkham games, but more like the sort of multi-tiered boss battles I'd faced in the Metal Gear Solid series. More specifically, I hadn't felt that focused or committed to a one-on-one battle since taking on Metal Gear Rising's more punishing creeps. I walked away from Origins after being defeated by Deathstroke only twice. Whether or not I will ultimately experience the same controller chucking frustration that followed Raiden's more soul crushing defeats remains to be seen. My rematch can't come soon enough. Matt Carbell is a freelance writer for IGN. His superpower is being unbelievably nice. Seriously, you can't help but like this guy. You can follow him on Twitter. Alright. That's it for that article. The next article is it's from Arkham Origins. New maps coming to Arkham Origins Nightfall pack. It's only for PS3. September 24th, 2013. New skins and challenge maps are coming to Arkham Origins on the PS3. By Mike B. Hardy. Azrael and Adam West have their work cut out for them in a new challenge campaign. In addition to exclusive skins announced at E3, PS3 players will receive an exclusive campaign in the Batman Arkham Origins Nightfall pack. The map pack consists of 3 combat maps and 2 prisoner maps. In the former, players fight waves of enemies in hand-to-hand combat, building up the longest hit combo possible. In prisoner mode, a stealth approach is necessary and to systematically eliminate the guards in a given map. The map titles are listed below. Azrael does not protect combat. City on fire combat. No rest for the wicked combat. Venom connection. Predator. Turning point. Predator. The previously announced skins include Adam West's iconic 1960s outfit and Azrael's Killer Nightfall skin. Deathstroke will also be available for anyone who pre-orders Batman Arkham Origins, which releases October 25th for PS3, Xbox 360, PC, and Wii U. Mike McHardy is a freelance writer for various outlets and is very upset with the NY Giants right now. You can follow Mike on Twitter. That's it for that one. On to the next one. There's a lot of articles here. But I'll read them off. I have nothing else to do anyway. September 20th, 2013. 50 achievements from Batman Arkham Origins as appeared online, with some interesting hints at single player and multiplayer. Batman Arkham Origins achievements leaks. I read off achievements in one of my videos before. I'll say it again in this video. But I read these ones already. I'm not going to read them again. Okay. Next one, Batman Arkham Origins Collector's Edition Reveal. August 14th, 2013. Last week we saw the UK exclusive version of Arkham Origins Collector's Edition. Now the North American and Australian one has been unveiled. August 14th. By Luke Carmelli. The statue lights up. Seriously. Warner Bros. Has announced the collector's edition of Batman Arkham Origins that will be available in North America, Australia, and New Zealand. The collector's edition will be available for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the game on October 25. It has a retail price of $119.99. In terms of what's actually in the box, the special edition will include a statue of the Joker featuring LED effects, an 80-page art book, 2 pieces of evidence, a Batman wanted poster, along with prototype schematics for the Batwing, an Anarchy logo stencil, a glow-in-the-dark map of Gotham, Wayne family photo, and initial dozers on the 8 assassins, along with Black Mask's contract. Additionally, a first appearance Batman skin will be included along with players to appear as Batman did at his debut in Detective Comics issue 27 in 1939. along with the Deathstroke challenge pack, which unlocks 2 extra Deathstroke skins and bonus challenge maps. Finally, North American versions of the special edition will get a feature-length documentary from Warner Bros. Showcasing DC's supervillains, while the PS3 edition will also have the Nightfall pack as exclusive content. In case you missed it last week, a UK only version of the collector's edition was unveiled, containing vastly different items. Gamers in Australia and New Zealand are the only ones in the world to have the choice of picking up either version of the collector's edition locally at $139.95 AUD. Australia has the same price as we do. They have American dollars though too. Yes, Australia has American dollars, I guess. I don't know what AUD means. No. Yeah, I think it's Australia. And 119. I was trying to ask my dad, but he's ignoring me. Yeah. And $119.95 AUD. Respectfully. I guess that's got here. The collector's edition comes with a 360 game and PS3. What? What? Comes with both? What do you reckon? Are you tempted by the UK edition or the international edition more? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. UK junior editor and MMO fan, you get to reveal and media criticism by following him on IGN and on Twitter. The NAV version is awesome, but the UK statue is absolutely insane. I wish I could get it. That's a pretty intense statue. To see by sneaking onto a 208, the other one was Ultimate 321. And this guy says that's a pretty intense statue. The CE is a steal. The game alone is $60. So do I think my money's worth by purchasing this? Yes, I do. Next guy is Wordsmith. Says most do pre-order after my next paycheck. What you get? The 2 black masks both maps, or the Tim Drake DLC skin. There's a lot of articles here. See, like, yeah. That's it for this article. Batman. Next article is Batman Arkham Origins beta invites going out August 2nd, 2013. The open beta begins on August 7th. Read more. By Chris Puri. Puri. I can't say the last name. It's too weird. Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment has begun inviting Batman fans to sign up for a beta test of Batman Arkham Origins. Recently announced multiplayer mode. Yes, this is an old article from August 7th. It already happened. The beta is over. The beta is way over now. Recently announced multiplayer mode. Invites to register for the open beta began being sent out by email earlier this week. Those who qualify are being admitted on a first served basis. When registering, an option for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the beta are offered. The PC version is left out of the beta, at least for the time being. As is Wii U, which will not be seeing multiplayer in the final game due to a desire to focus on platforms with the largest multiplayer audience. The Xbox 360 and PS3 beta is scheduled to begin on August 7th and will run through August 14th. Details on Origins multiplayer were first revealed earlier this week. Being developed by Splash Damage of Brink and Enemy Territory Quake Wars fame. FAME. It will pit 3 teams against each other in the new Invisible Predator Online modes 2 versus 3, 3 versus 3, 2 versus 3, versus 3 matches. The team of 2 consists of Batman and Robin. Each team of 3 is comprised of thugs who pledge allegiance to either Bane or Joker. IGN got the full scoop on Invisible Predator Online mode earlier this week. You can check out the full details, including hands-on impressions here. Batman Arkham Origins will be released for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PC, and Wii U on October 25th. Chris Puri is a freelance writer who spends his spare time agonizing over the final seasons of the Xbox files. Check out what he's saying on Twitter and follow him on IGN. What do you mean by full details, including ads on impressions here? It's a video. I'm not gonna read that. I'm done reading this. Alright. So the article is done. Next article is multiplayer Cubs to Batman Arkham Origins, July 31st, 2013. 3v3 v2. Question mark, question mark. Yep, Batman Arkham Origins multiplayer will pit Batman and Robin against two-player controlled teams of gun-toting henchmen, each consisting of three players, led by the competing Bat villains Joker and Bane. Read more. 2 versus 3 versus 3. Gameplay rocks Gotham City. By Chuck Osborne. July 31st, 2013. Criminals are superstitious, cowardly lot until they find some friends. That is, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment has revealed a new prequel to Batman Arkham Origins. It's prequel to Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, with the announcement of a 2 versus 3. Of a 2 versus 3 versus 3 online multiplayer mode developed by Splash Damage, Brink Enemy Territory, Quake Wars, Invisible Predator Online will pit Batman and Robin against two-player control teams of gun-toting henchmen, each consisting of three players led by the competing Bat villains Joker and Bane. These aren't just any ordinary henchmen, though. Joker and Bane have enlisted their gang elite to take down the dynamic duo, outfitting them with special gadgets like enhanced vision, which works like Batman's detective vision to see other players through walls and objects, but with limited battery power, and deadly themed weapons like the Joker's gang surprise, you're dead. Proximity mind gift box, or the Bane cruise ultrasonic pulse that can zap enemies even through walls. Though I initially had reservations about how well multiplayer could be incorporated into the Arkham world. My hands-on experience and several matches quelled my fears. Scarecrow's fear toxin not included. And the level I played set aside the crumbling interiors of Blackgate Prison. The two gang elites competed to secure 3 different control points. If your gang holds a majority of the control points, the opposing gang will lose a respawn every 30 seconds for each one you hold. Once a team has used up all its responses, either by getting tossed by the rival gang or subdued by the Caped Crusaders, it loses likewise. Batman and Robin fail by being sent to the great belfry in the sky once too often. Batman and Robin win through intimidation by taking down gang members, varying their tactics, and subduing high-value targets like gang captains until Joker and Bane stop the operation. Playing as Batman or Robin is all about mastering stealth, cunning, and your environment. The heroes have all the moves and gadgets that Batman has in the solo campaign, but they're hardly bulletproof. As Robin, I started out perching on the gargoyles, using my detective vision to track hitchmen's positions, and waiting for one to wander underneath so I could drop down for an inverted takedown. Or if one is isolated, I could target him and swoop down with a glide kick to the head. When cut up close, I wiped out my fold-up bullet shield to block gunfire before stunning the Joker flunky with a shuriken. Robin's version of a batarang, and then knocking him out with my bow staff. Batman and Robin can also set traps, such as spraying a walkway with explosive gel, retreating to a convenient vantage point, and setting it off when a henchman or two get too close. They can also hide under those walkways and grates, stealthily picking off unaware goons from below. And to ratchet up the tension even more, the environment will play tricks on unsuspecting bad guys, occasionally spooking them with a swarm of bats or distracting them with flapping cloth that looks like the rustling of a cape. But because those goons are human controlled, they've got a few tricks up their colorfully colored sleeves as well. Gang elite can be subdued by stealth attacks if they've seen the bat or bird first, such as spotting one moving into position on a rooftop or sneaking underneath in grated vents. Luckily for Batman and Robin, they can temporarily scramble a gang elite's enhanced vision, as well as temporarily scrambling a hold point to keep either gang side from capturing it. After the battle has been raging for a while, Joker or Bane become unlockable. When activated, the first gang elite member to reach his secret hiding place will be able to control his respective gang leader. And that's when the action gets really intense. Each supervillain has his unique strengths and abilities. Bane, for example, is a bulldozer of a man great in melee confrontations, who can pummel his opponents with his fists and soak up heavier damage from gunfire. He can even pick up an enemy and toss him as a weapon, or unleash doom with a rocket launcher. The Joker is deadlier at a distance, armed with two custom handguns, the Ace of Spades, and explosive hand cannon with tons of splash damage, and the King of Hearts, a one-shot kill weapon that requires more careful aim. When caught up close, Joker can give pursuers a lethal jolt with his joy buzzer. While invisible, Predator Online is sent during the window of Batman Arkham Origins fiction. It isn't directly connected to it. Robin, for example, will not play a role in the main story, though he's a prominent figure here. But playing the solo campaign will allow you to unlock as yet unspecified items in multiplayer mode. Make no mistake, this is no afterthought multiplayer mode tacked onto a solo campaign. Invisible Predator Online is shaping up to be a full-fledged, tension-filled multiplayer experience that psychologically scarred whack jobs on either side of the law will appreciate. Chuck Osborne is IGN's managing editor and resistant DC superfan. Talk to him about everything wrong with Man of Steel on Twitter. Man of Steel on Twitter. That's it for that article. On to the next article now. The next article is the future of Xbox 360. And PlayStation 3 games. July 30th 2013. We're all excited about the next gen consoles. But ignoring your current systems would be a huge mistake. Here's why. By Marty Salivia. Ignoring your current consoles would be a huge mistake. While it's impossible to ignore the fact that Microsoft and Sony are on the cusp of releasing their new consoles, it's also wise to take a moment and remember that Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 are still alive and honestly stronger than ever. This year has already delivered a generation-defining experiences like BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us. And that's only the beginning. Many of this year's most anticipated games, such as Call of Duty Ghost, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, and Watch Dogs, are going to be available on both generations of consoles. But more importantly, the next year is already crammed with great-looking games that can only be played on consoles that millions of us already own. And we give that PS4 and Xbox One are going to be backwards compatible. You're going to need to keep those old reliable consoles. Here are a handful of reasons to keep your 360 and PS3 plugged in. Even after both have you bought their successors. Saints Row 4, August. We played the first few hours of Saints Row 4 and can safely report that it's just as insane as you all hoped it would be. We watched wander through a 50s sitcom, left tall buildings in a single bound, and have been offended in all of the best ways. Saints 4 takes the open world madness and vulgarity of Saints 3 and adds in a healthy dose of Crackdown-inspired mechanics. Once you get a taste of running at sonic speed, freezing enemies with your ice breath, and turning yourself into an airborne projectile, you'll wonder how you ever lived without those superpowers. Splinter Cell Blacklist, August. It seems like every time we get a chance to dive into Splinter Cell Blacklist, we walk away more and more impressed. The single-player campaign looks better than ever, and the open approach to missions encourages player creativity in a fantastic way. Want to change in with guns blazing, leaving no survivors in your wake? Or would you rather become a true ghost and complete your mission without leaving a single trace. Ubisoft created a gorgeous playground for would-be spies to make their own. And come August, that's exactly what we're going to do. That's exactly what you're going to do. Grand Theft Auto 5, September. It's funny that the biggest game of 2013 isn't even the slightest bit concerned with the two new consoles launching at the end of the year. Let's be real. Rockstar's new entry in the GTA series is less a game and more of an event. We devour every detail, screenshot, and trailer that makes its way onto the internet. And the ambitious choice to give us 3 protagonists looks to be a major shift in the already fantastic formula. Rockstar sits high on top of the mountain of open world games. And come September, it seems likely that GTA 5 will take the throne. Puppeteer, September. It's rare that a game is available to win you over within moments of revealing itself. But that's exactly what Sony has on its hands with Puppeteer, Japan Studios. Platformer walks a fine line between 2D and 3D, all while exuding effortless creativity at every single turn. The world of Puppeteer adheres its core theme of stage theatrically through its use of setting, characters, mechanics, and raw charm. The game dares you to not crack a smile as you make your way through its gorgeous world. Anyone hankering for a wildly creative platform only has to wait until September, when Puppeteer makes its debut worldwide. Batman Arkham Origins, October. Despite Rocksteady handing over... What?
I need to talk to you about CM.
Okay, I gotta finish the video first.
Okay.
Can you text Leo? Can you text Leo for me? Despite Rocksteady handing over the reins of the franchise to Warner Bros. Montreal, Bat fans have little to worry about. Arkham Origins provides an evolved version of the combat, exploration, and fan service that followed throughout its predecessors, and we've only come away impressed each time we played it. Few games have ever managed to make you feel as if you're embodying the Dark Knight. But the Arkham series absolutely nails it. While we have little doubt that Batman's adventures will continue into the next generation of consoles. We'll be keeping our 360s and PS3s warm in anticipation of Arkham Origins. Beyond Two Souls, October. Few developers are as polarizing as David Cage. It's easy to say that Heavy Rain creators' reach exceeds his grasp, but when he delivers two of the most ambitious games, Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain, of the past decade, it's impossible not to be curious about everything he puts out. Beyond Two Souls is no exception. A cinematic adventure starring Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe seems posed to be one of the PS3's final hoorays. While we weren't ecstatic about the small slice we played at E3, we fully realized that this is the type of game that needs to be experienced from start to finish. Castlevania, Lords of Shadow 2. Remember, most of us can agree that the original Lords of Shadow was an interesting but flawed action game. Thankfully, Konami and developer Murky Steam are well aware of this, and they intended on fixing many of these problems. An upcoming sequel, while also introducing a slew of new, interesting elements. In our first for the series, we will now be controlling Dracula himself. Combat and traversal, a game that I'll never get. The vampires? Yeah, right. Traversal will change this time around thanks to the Prince of Darkness powers. But yeah, my mom would love this game. Guys and girls. Not. Lords of Shadow 2. Looks to also pull from the classic Castlevania 3. Dracula's Curse. By introducing branching paths and multiple ways to advance past obstacles. If that doesn't get a Castlevania fan excited, I don't know what will. South Park, The Stick of Truth, late 2013. South Park, The Stick of Truth, does a handful of wildly different things, but somehow does all of them exceedingly well. It takes this suite of classic 16-bit RPG mechanics from games like Super Mario RPG and marries them with the sharp, crude humor of the long-running cartoon. Creators Matt Stone and Terry Parker have been hands-on with the game throughout its entirety. It absolutely shows it's easy to get sucked into the world and completely forget that you're playing a game and not actually watching an episode of the series. Gran Turismo 6, late 2013. The latest entry in Polyphony Digital's much heralded racing series is finally within grasp. We hope. The studio has always held that it's done when it's done mentality. But it's hard to get mad at that when they deliver some of the most engrossing racing experience in all of gaming. GT6 is it's giving the PlayStation 4 in favor of giving the wealth of PS3 owners one final driving masterpiece. And we couldn't be more excited. Car aficionados are going to lose themselves in this four-wheeled simulation when it hopefully hits later this year. Now all we have to do is wait. Dark Souls 2. March 2014. So the sequel to one of 2011's best game hits in March 2014. A lot of us are going to be ignoring our PS4s and Xbox One. Dark Souls is every bit as smart and punishing as its predecessor, with a fresh coat of paint, and that makes it one of the most gorgeous experiences you'll ever have on a PS3 or 360. It's a small segment. We played at Judges a week left. Left us craving more from Soft's impeccable mechanics and world design. Safe to say that once again we are prepared to die. Indies. One of the most disappointing aspects of the PS4 and Xbox One is that our downloadable game libraries aren't going to transfer over. This pill is even tougher to swallow when you take a look at the indie games that are set to hit over the next year for Xbox 360 and PS3. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is posed to scratch a familiar itch as a journey. Rain looks like a beautiful, poetic adventure that excludes shades of Ico. The Super Time Force injects the classic formula of shooters like Contra with a mix of time travel, skateboarding dinosaurs, and KB's own brand of madness. Seriously, I could go on like this forever. But the point is that fans of creative indie games are going to want to keep their PS3s and 360s close at hand. Marzullo is an associate editor at IGN. He's pretty sure he's going to have to start squatting in abandoned buildings after he spent all of his money on these games. Follow him on Twitter at McBiggity and on IGN. That's it for that article. Mad Hatter confirmed for Batman Arkham Origins. Not even close to being done. July 23rd, 2013. The latest villain set to star in Arkham Origins has been revealed as one who had a brief cameo in Arkham City. Hatman Returns by Luke Carmelli. One of the villains set to star in the upcoming Batman Arkham Origins has been revealed to be the Mad Hatter. the month's official Xbox magazine, VIA, VG2 24/7, reveals that the villain, also known as Jarvis Tetch, is set to join the roster of Batman's enemies in the latest Arkham title. Though the Hatter made an appearance in Rocksteady's Batman Arkham City, he appears this time around to have a significantly larger role. He's said to be the focal point of the game's trippy action sequences, similar to how Scarecrow featured in the original Arkham Asylum title. Tetch is set to join Deathstroke in a reimagined version of Copperhead, as well as familiar faces Penguin, Bane, and the Joker. Batman Arkham Origins is due out on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U, and PC on October 25. Luke Carmel is IGN's UK junior editor. You can do review and curiosity by following him on IGN and on Twitter. Play as Worst Nightmare in Batman Arkham Origins. July 19th, 2013. Plus, Batman and Joker being voiced by Christopher Walken and William Shatner. Well, not exactly. Perhaps you should try some of your own medicine, Doctor. The team behind the next Batman Arkham game, played to a pack house by Steve Butts. The team behind the next Batman game, Arkham game, played to a packed house at this year's Comic-Con. And while their presence of developers for Warner Brothers Montreal studio was enough to get us interested, the inclusion of DC superstar Geoff Johns and the game's two best known voice actors, Troy Baker and Roger Craig Smith, no doubt contributed to the massive turnout. The session opened with the same information we'd heard in previous demos. It's Christmas time in Gotham City, and the Black Mask has put out a $50 million hit on a brand new vigilante known as Batman. Batman's been terrorizing the mob for nearly 2 years now, showing the Falcons and Maronis of Gotham that they're not untouchable. 8 assassins have decided to make up Black Mask's offer, and they'll each be taking a shot at Batman over Christmas Eve. As a prequel to the previous games, Arkham Origins presents an earlier version of Batman than we're used to playing. Rather than nerfing the Caped Crusader to make him seem less effective in combat or without his detective skills. The developers are relying on story and character to provide that additional context of a less developed Dark Knight. The tension of seeing Jim Gordon chase down Batman as the head of the Vigilante Task Force. For instance, it's just one expression of this new perspective. Players will also be a very different relationship between Batman and Alfred. He's not particularly sure about the heir to the Wayne fortune running around at night beating up criminals. Batman's been doing particularly well at it so far, but things will definitely change when assassins come to town. beating up mob bosses is one thing, but taking on the likes of Bane or Anarchy or Deathstroke will require Batman to up his game substantially. The panel also revealed that the panel also revealed that a villain would put Batman through a psychedelic sequence, like we saw from Scarecrow and the Mad Hatter in the previous two games. The developers are relying on story and character to provide that additional context of a less developed Dark Knight. Another fun surprise was the first announcement of a new assassin, Copperhead, based loosely on the comic character of the same name. This Copperhead is a female master of martial arts who uses poison and outrageous fighting and acrobatic ability to take on our hero. In the exclusive Comic-Con trailer, see above, Copperhead escapes from her handcuffs during an interrogation and then proceeds to battle Batman using her poison claws. The character is so barren that WB had to use 3 different performers for the motion capture, including a martial artist and Circle du Sol acrobat. Batgirl isn't in Batman Arkham Origins. Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker were on hand to talk about their roles voicing Batman and the Joker, respectively, but unfortunately, they didn't take any opportunity to display the voices, opting instead to deflect requests by performing characters as Christopher Walken and William Shatner, bringing their things back to a more sincere level. Both actors expressed clear admiration for the work done by their predecessors, particularly Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Star Wars. Troy Baker was quick to assure the audience that he's not going for an impression of Mark Hamill, Caesar Romeo, or any of the famous actors who have helped define the voice of the character. Players who finished Arkham Origins but still want more will be served by Blackgate, the handheld title that continues the story of the console game, featuring new characters and Metroidvania style gameplay. Blackgate will move players beyond the events of Arkham Origins. The worst nightmare skin depicts Batman as a terrifying mythic figure she hoped to create in the minds of criminals. As the panel drew to a close, the team also revealed several of the new skins for the addition to the game, in addition to the classic Adam West and Nightfall skins, both of which are exclusive to the PlayStation 3. The game will also include what's being called the worst nightmare skin, which depicts Batman as the terrifying mythic creature he hoped to create in the minds of criminals. It's a superstitious and cowardly lot. If you remembered the way Batman looked to gas at victims in the first film. You'll have the sense of just how creepy the skin will be. While gamers were a bit nervous about the transition from Rocksteady to Warner Brothers Montreal, it seems that the game is in excellent hands. Steve Butts is IGN's editor-in-chief. Keep up with him at Steve Butts on Twitter. Or Steve Butts on IGN. Do not follow him down the streets of San Francisco. Copperhead. Copperhead revealed at Arkham Origins villain as Arkham Origins villain, July 18th, 2013. The obscure comic villain comes to the Arkhamverse as a woman, and intense mocap is bringing her to life. Snake the Soul. The Soul. By Mitch Dyer, July 18th, 2013. Copperhead has been confirmed as Batman Arkham Origins villain. Warner Brothers announced during a San Diego Comic-Con panel today. Assassin is loosely based on DC's New 52 reimagination of the snake suit wearing villain, rather than the comics' anthropomorphic serpent design. WB made her human again, as the team wanted to add more women to the roster. Copperhead was shown escaping interrogation, attacking Batman using poison claws. The developers took 3 motion capture performers, including martial artist and Circle du Sol performer, to create the scene. DC writer Geoff Johns is so pleased with the new Copperhead that DC will be using it, introducing her to the comics. IGN will have more on Arkham Origins and Copperhead soon. Don't miss our CDCC live show. Mitch Dyer is an associate editor at IGN. He's currently reading Joe Hill's heart-shaped box. Read his ramblings on Twitter and follow him on IGN. Next one is Batman Arkham Origins looks the same, and that's okay. June 11th, 2013. Arkham Origins barely strays from the established formula, but does that even really matter? By Justin Davis and Lucy O'Brien. Now I have a grapple clock. Ho, ho, ho. while an Arkham game is always a welcome proposition. Fans of the series are understandably cautious when the announcement was made that Rocksteady will not make its next generation. Nobody wanted the Arkham core so damn good. Say both the original Arkham and its even better sequel to be stripped and retooled. For the love of God, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Fortunately, Batman Arkham Origins, under the hand of Warner Brothers Games Montreal, appears to have kept that core intact. It's identical. In fact, combat is still satisfyingly fluid. Detective mode is still a key part of gameplay, and Gotham is still as moody as ever. Origins is an Arkham game with careful tweaks. If it ain't broke, the E3 demo opens with Batman soaring through a snow Gotham to the strains of an electric chorus. It's all very recognizable. Giant black skyscrapers appeared with brightly lit windows. The snow, the dark, the fog, ETL, thugs, the usual mindless Arkham lackeys are waiting for us on landing. And really, there's nothing different here. It's the same fight you've taken part in 1,000 times over. Combos remain delightfully empowering, and enemies give you enough space to pull them off. There's still that fine balance of visual elegance and genuine challenge. Warner Brothers Montreal's tweaks to combat are defined principally by new enemy types, armored enforcers to wear what appear to be American football pads made out of metal, can be stripped of their armor and taken down with quick punches to the torso. The martial artist enemy type can encounter Batman, and Batman in turn can counter his counters. These fights are imminent and quick, and mix up random encounters nicely. Too lazy. It was hard to get a sense of scale from the demo, but it seems that the new studio has repeated Rocksteady's trick of bringing enemies together in a relatively confined space. There is still a sense of verticality and freedom within the world, but threat never felt far away. A new crime in progress that indicates nearby random generated crimes on your HUD can either be addressed or ignored, but keeps things immediate and vibrant. Perhaps the most significant addition to minute-to-minute gameplay comes in form extra feedback to each encounter alongside XP bonuses. You will also receive a grade after each fight. The higher the grade, the more XP you receive, which can then be spent on a tree system to make the Batman you want to make. While we didn't get a chance to explore these upgrades, the idea of built a Batman is an interesting one. Hopefully the system will run quite deeply. All these additions rekindled my curiosity. The most encouraging aspect of Warner Brothers Montreal's take is a respect for Rocksteady's core mechanics and ideas. that Batman Arkham Origins isn't trying to tinker with the formula, merely improve it ever so slightly. Christmas in Gotham. Like Arkham City Origins takes place over the course of a single event-filled night, but this time instead of a random Tuesday night, in Gotham, Batman's terrible, no good, very bad night takes place on Christmas Eve. And the team at WB Montréal knows that Christmas team requires a light touch. Least it overwhelmed the cynicism that's an important element of the Arkham franchise. The team describes the experience as a mixture of upbeat and downbeat, getting your face beaten in under a cheerful Christmas tree. Die Hard has been specifically named as a thematic influence. Plenty of red and green decorations. In the moody, snowy weather, serve as a holiday reminder that Origins doesn't have Christmas coming out of its pores, as creator-director Eric Holmes put it. When zipping across the cinema rooftops of South Gotham's Brewery District, it's easy to forget that this is a special night at all. But then, on one mission later, you're thrust into an opulent hotel lobby that's fully decked out for the season. It works. Promising case file system. Origins' biggest addition to the finely tuned Arkham formula is its new case file system. As polished and fun as Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were, they never really gave players too much opportunity to do any real detective work. You know, the other half of what actually makes Batman? Sure, we had detective mode, but it was used mostly for passive gameplay purposes. Now players finally have the opportunity to examine evidence and piece together crime scenes. At specific moments in the campaign or during specific side missions, players will be able to enter evidence scanning mode. Each case file starts with a simple scan of a crime scene point of interest. The E3 demo uses a crashed police helicopter. From there, Batman works backwards, recreating in his mind the moment that must have created this outcome. In the stylized blue detective mode, lines and pixels players are already immensely familiar with. Players can actually scrub through the crime timeline in real time, moving around through the environment to examine the crime from every angle and from any moment. Examining the scene from the right spot and at the right moment allows players to continue working backwards, piecing together more of the crime as more evidence is discovered. Back to E3 demo, copter crash. Examining the wreckage lets Batman deduce that it spun out of control after colliding with a nearby building. Ziplining over it and watching the scene again leads to the discovery that the tail router broke off and fell in an opposite direction. Really? tail rotor leads to the discovery that they were shot with a sniper's bullet, and so on. Each case file only takes around 3 minutes to complete. These aren't deep puzzles intended to stump gamers. They're short, stylish, cinematic moments that the team at WB Montréal hopes to help players feel like Batman, even more than they already did skulking through the rafters. If these case files moments are too passive, they might feel like nothing more than interactive story cutscenes. With players connecting a lighter series of dots, bonus and pit, more actual deduction on players' part, they can become a very promising gameplay pillar for the Arkham series. Lucy O'Brien is assistant editor at IGN AU, Australia. You should talk to her about games, horror movies, and the TV shows Freaks and Geeks on IGN here. Justin Davis is editor of IGN Wireless. You can follow him on Twitter at IrJustin and on IGN. Alright, I don't know. I've been doing this video for an hour and 45 minutes now. It's crazy. Next one. IGN's Best of E3 2013 award. June 11th. The most important gaming event of the year is now. Who won it? Read more. The most important gaming event of the year is now. Who won it?
No.
You're done. The video's over. I gotta go now. I did it too long, guys and girls. I'll see you later, okay? Please rate, comment, like, favorite, subscribe, opinions, thoughts, and I hope you like it and enjoy it for your viewing pleasure, guys and girls. And also tell you like it and hit the like button and add favorites. And my dad's getting a little impatient here, so I gotta go now. Okay, so I'll see y'all later. Okay, bye.